Welcome
Welcome
to
to KSDL
KSDL
Day
Day 5.
5. Very good chemistry over there. Very, very good.
Hi guys, we are still around and alive.
Yeah. So now we are back in day 5. Even though we have 1 month of a break, but I think that is well deserved, right?
For me, basically, because I just got a job. So, just to give a small announcement, I already found a job, a full time job in product design. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, so I've been busy trying to familiarize and get used to working in a corporate again. That's why.
So we are trying out something new. We wanted to try a very short conversational piece.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's us just coming up with very very intriguing questions.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Yeah.
it's more of us, almost like us meeting at a cafe. We happen to talk about this topic, then we just expand on this conversation.
I think we got the idea because we met for lunch, right? Remember that time at this Japanese stall, and then we were discussing about this, like where we're gonna take the podcast. Then we decided
Mm-hmm.
maybe instead of having a long episode, maybe we can have shorter episodes.
Yep. So let's just jump right into it. So what's the topic for today, Adila?
When do we call it quits?
Ooh, very juicy.
Yes, very very juicy. So, Shuen, have you ever thought of calling it quits?
You can look through my career history, right?
Mm,
Changing companies and going to different roles. I think it's increasingly common as well for our generations and the younger ones to be going to another company in 2 or 3 years. I mean, it's normal also to leave your job for a new one. But I guess the more interesting question is why do you,
mm.
or when do you decide to call it quits for, let's say, another company? You don't have to join another company as well. Like you can call it quits and maybe go for a long break,
Or
right?
like a sabbatical leave. I think some people do that.
Mm-mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In the past, when I was working full time before I went into freelance, I decided to call it quits once I realized there's nothing else for me to learn at that current company. And also probably like the drive to come to work is just not there anymore. And I was always looking forward to the end of the day to my other more interesting pursuits after work.
Mm.
When you come to a certain state where you are very comfortable or where you are an expert in what you are doing at your job, right? Then it doesn't pose any more challenge. You just plateau off and then there's no progress. There's nothing for you to learn unless if you are really keen to probably swap into a different department. Yeah, so
Mm.
I wasn't keen to do that. I was a designer, but was a designer and I was developing websites, but I wasn't really keen to like maybe switch to the developer team. I don't know about you, but in my case, right, in my experience, every 4 years there was a change for me. So I guess my point of expiry in a certain company is like 4 years. It was very interesting because even for my freelance, I'm hitting my 5th year this year, but in my 5th year this year is where I pivot to a full time job, right? So essentially, it's the same.
It feels to me like it's just around growth, right?
Mm.
If you think you are growing in this space or not. I'm just wondering, what does growth means to you?
For me, growth is when you are basically working out of your comfort zone. So knowing
Mm.
that you acknowledge that you are in your comfort zone, and then you come to a realization that it's either I just want to keep cruising in my comfort zone to
Mm.
nowhere, or you decide, okay, I'm gonna step out of my comfort zone and learn something new. So to me, that is
Right.
growth. I've heard someone said to me before as well, if you feel at a point of resistance, means you are growing. If you feel some sort of like
Mm-mm.
challenge or resistance in terms of doing your work or maybe dealing with someone at work, means you are growing. You are growing out of your comfort zone, be whether
Yeah.
you realize it or not. Yeah, yeah. So how about you?
Yeah.
What do you think about growth?
Yeah, I guess growth it's a combination of struggle
Mm,
but also learning. Yeah, so you
mm,
struggle and you learn, and to me that is an equation for growth lah. Yeah.
mm.
There's this thing called the state of flow, right?
Yeah.
If you're able to keep at this sweet spot, right? life becomes very interesting.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't feel mundane or very dry.
I think that's where work doesn't feel like work. Like some people might say,
Yeah.
when you come to a state of flow, right? In that
Mm.
sense, you don't feel like you're working.
You don't feel like you're working, and I think that is like a very beautiful feeling.
Yeah, 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 precisely.
Because I remember there are some days in my career, right, where I
Mm.
will go to sleep and I will feel so excited to wake up the next day and open up my laptop. You
Ah,
just suddenly find a new light in the work that you are doing.
I totally get what you mean. That was my first few days and months doing freelance. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. I
It's
was
like
really
even
very,
thinking
I was
about
very,
it.
yeah, yeah. You like very excited, huh? I have to stop my work now and fetch the kids. Oh man, okay.
Yeah, you mean I have to eat?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, just eat and work at
precisely.
the same time.
Yeah, I always have this issue about eating. Like, my husband will always have to check on me, and then he will sometimes message me, and he'll complain and say, "Ah, yeah, if I don't check on you, you will forget that you had lunch. You're still not remembering to eat." And I was like telling him, I just enjoy what I'm doing too much.
And I think that knowing, the factors of your enjoyment
Mm.
and being able to capitalize on that, right, is such a strong trait. Like if you truly know what drives you
Mm.
intrinsically, right,
Mm-hmm.
it does make you a very sustainable employee. I mean,
Mm.
you are more likely to find enjoyment
Yeah.
in any projects. A couple of years ago, I asked myself, like, oh, why do I feel like, every day is a dread at work, which
Mm-hmm.
is what you shared as well. Then I stumbled upon this quote that says, you feel tired not because you've done too much, but because you have done too little of what sparks light in you. Then I was like,
Mm.
oh, yeah, actually, it's true. I really don't think I've done a lot, but I
Mm.
still feel very lethargic. So, why is that? Yeah.
I
So it feels like,
see.
yeah, on the flip side, right, it's maybe because of what has not happened, you
I
know?
see. Would it be similar to like having a burnout?
So I think it's a bit of the opposite. Burnout could be
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I'm doing something so excessively, right, that
Yep.
I forgo my health. On the flip side, right, I didn't do anything that really sparks joy in me. Yeah. So I guess it's a combination of both lah. Because if you get me to
Mm.
do something that I
Yep.
really, really enjoy, right, then I probably won't feel super burnout.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so the question is like what sparks light in you, lor?
Mm.
One thing is the impact. We always think of our end users, right?
Yeah.
And the problems that we are solving. If the problem is not very exciting,
I think it would be like meaningful.
meaningful, and
Mm.
hence like makes you very excited to want to solve it for them,
Like a calling.
right? Like you are making an impact in their life.
Yeah, I know some people they don't s- they see their jobs as a calling. If for example, if the even though if the job doesn't pay them well, but they just do it and
Mm.
it really sparks the light in them. That's what they call a calling. So that's why if we you don't find that in your job, that's why maybe some people call it quits. Ah.
Mm-mm. You do hear stories of people leaving for somewhere that pays lesser.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I've
like
heard it before.
why is that so, right? Your design is ultimately helping someone else.
Yep.
So if we don't feel that, that is almost like, the root of our identity.
Mm.
Yeah, then
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
just then I would say that is when I will start looking out. Lor. Mm.
Ah, okay, okay, okay. Another point about calling it quits when your mental health is at risk. So, for example, you have a toxic environment. Sometimes it's all good and nice when you see it as an outsider. Only when you join a company, when you are
Mm.
there,
Everyday interactions.
yes, so all the daily interactions, and then you observe people, and then you see how they communicate with you, right? So it's only when you are in it, then you realize, hey, this is not as what I expected it to be lah. I would say sometimes we take it for granted. We as UX designers, we are always concerned about taking care of our users, but then we sometimes forget about our own
Mm.
needs.
That's a very good point.
I do think mental health is a very key factor when you are at work,
Mm.
because eventually when the person's mental health is affected, yeah, that's where they can just call it quits.
True, true. I'm not downplaying mental health or the other roles, but I feel like it is extremely important for designers.
Mm,
We are directly affecting the lives of the end users, right?
yeah,
So we're
correct.
almost like the digital therapists. Our state of mind, right? It does seep through the designs and
Mm,
inadvertently affects the lives of whoever we are designing for.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Our mental health should be taken care of first
Mm.
for us to, quote unquote, take care of our customers.
Then if like that, who is responsible of taking care of our mental health?
I guess the first response would be the organization that we're working for, lor.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
The ones that provide the space for us to create. I think it's also the people that we work closely with.
Yeah, yeah.
Having that mutual respect also help us to ensure everyone is working in the best state.
To that point about people, I agree totally, because I find that sometimes when the work gets tough, it's the people around you that keeps you going. The work itself won't take care of you. You see, it's the people around you
Mm,
that has to be taking
yeah,
care of you, and
very true.
you also have to be taking care of your other teammates, other colleagues as well.
Really acknowledging that whatever you do is a team effort, right? Gives
Mm,
you that respect for your teammates because you know that you won't be here or your results, it won't be there if it's not for the team. Lah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, there are bad days at work, but it's the people that really makes it hard for you to leave.
Yeah, I've heard of this before.
Yeah, it's either that, right? Or it's the people that really drives you away.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? I think it's a very, very strong factor.
I've heard of people who actually follow their managers to another company.
It's like dance classes or spin classes or any gym. Mostly it's quite the case that they will follow instructors.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's true, that's true. Or hairstylists.
I yeah. It's always not about the salon. Yeah, because this person knows the shape of my head. This person knows like the characteristic of my hair growth.
I think it's more of this person knows what haircut suits me. And then that's why I decide I'm just gonna stick to this hairstylist and follow him along. Yeah, yeah,
Correct, but
yeah.
I think it's also like following this analogy, right? Like
Mm,
why do some people follow their managers? Same as like hairstylists, right?
mm,
The manager knows how you want to grow and the manager knows how to make it happen. Yeah.
mm,
And for my own good, right? I will just follow the manager because I trust the manager to know how the organization works and is able to pull the strings lah.
Now that you mention it, right, I just realized something. When I think it's also based on my own experience. So when you are first working with someone, surely you are meeting this stranger for the first time, and then in order for you to do effective work together, you need to get to know the person. So
Mm,
when you and your manager have the work of getting to know your strengths and your weaknesses is already done, and then they can just go straight into working effectively together. So that's why I
mm,
think the person decides to go to manager, follow the manager, because that step of getting to know each other, that part is already done, settled. They don't have to go through that
mm.
again. I just suddenly came across this keyword I read somewhere about quiet quitting. Have you heard about it?
Oh yes, yes. But a couple of podcast episodes on it as well. It's a very trending topic now, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's why. What have you gathered so far?
Almost like this despondent. Like you just feel like there's no point in giving more in my work.
Yes.
So it is like a silent protest.
Protests. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah.
So I just do what is the bare necessity, the very, very minimal.
Okay, the thing is, right, when I heard about this phenomenon, I felt like this is not something new. What I'm sure last time people have done this before, but maybe there wasn't a term for it. You get what I mean? Yeah, I'm sure this concept has been around for a very long time. And then, in a sense, I read an article about this, and then they were saying that the opposite of quiet quitting is quiet firing. I'm not sure whether it's still the same term.
Mm. Not working.
Yeah.
Sorry, literally open.
Okay, if that's the case, maybe loud working is someone who is very enthusiastic at work and then has to like
So I am
yeah, yeah,
working
yeah.
day one. Imagine if someone really comes in like that. Or like,
Hey, you never know.
I
Maybe
think this
maybe
is
there
the
is.
person that drives me to quit the company.
Oh my god,
Just kidding.
that's
Sorry,
quite
sorry.
bad.
Back to your
Yeah, yeah,
quiet
yeah. So
firing thing.
okay, about the quiet firing thing. From what I heard is that it's more of the company itself makes it difficult for you to want to stay at the company.
Oh, right. They make it upon you lah.
Yeah, yeah. They make it such that it's your choice who choose to quit. I'm not the bad person
Mm,
who fired you. You choose to quit. But actually, they were the one who already set the environment such that you cannot survive or you feel very
mm.
suffocated. You just want to quit already.
Yeah, I agree that the act of quiet quitting may not be new. But I think what's
Mm.
new, right, is the using of social media to rally other people to start doing it. And hence, like
Oh,
making it
okay.
a movement is really to get the masses to start doing something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now that you say it, yes, there's a difference. So maybe the concept has already been around for ages, even before we started working. Right now, social media is just bringing more awareness to it. Maybe that's it.
Another one is the culture of feedback. To me, I would start looking out if I realize that culturally there
Mm-hmm.
isn't like this habit of giving and receiving feedback.
Mm,
To extend that, right, not driven to changes, hence like being very rigid lah.
I get what you mean. Like just ignores it or just say, "Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, that's about it." Is that what you mean? Like you are. It seems like you are just not being taken seriously, lah. All right.
Yeah, it's more of like customary, like, oh, thank you for your feedback, but you know that it's not being registered.
When you say thank you for your feedback, it sounds like you are a McDonald or KFC person. Okay, thank you for your feedback.
I thought it's the toilet, the
Oh,
four
oh
faces that you
yes.
can click. Like, rate this toilet. Then you press like, oh yeah, sure, I find it super clean and thank you for your feedback. It's like, okay, what are you gonna do about it?
When I'm in a good mood and I got time, I will use that feedback, like just for fun. Like, oh, this
Yeah.
auntie quite nice. I give her smiley face.
Sometimes I do appreciate, like, oh yeah, it is really quite squeaky clean. Yeah, let me just tap onto the screen with my partially washed hands. Sure, very hygienic of you to provide a touch screen at the entrance of a toilet asking about your hygiene.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yeah, I always find it very, very strange. Anyway, yeah, I think
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of places, maybe it's just being too nice.
Mm-hmm,
They
mm-hmm.
just don't really have that culture of like giving feedback and giving very timely feedback.
Constructive feedback as well. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
constructive and timely feedback.
That also is a problem, right? When people are
Yeah.
too nice.
Yeah, I always think like there is a golden hour of
Oh,
giving feedback. It also goes back to like your how safe you feel in the space, right? Like a safe space like that the place provides.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Another
Mm.
point I want to add is probably some people call it quits whenever they feel that people don't trust them enough, and then they
Mm.
feel very restrictive. They feel that if you don't trust me to do a good work, why should I stick around? Why should I still be here?
Mm-mm.
One thing I like when I was doing my freelance work is that clients normally will give me like full trust in me to do the work, and then because of
Mm.
that, I'm more interested and I'm more keen to make sure that I do a good job because the
Right.
trust is there.
Yeah. And what are the signs of someone trusting you?
I guess one could be when the person is willing to let you make mistakes, and
Mm.
then not really to
Mm.
let you fail, but to make you learn,
Mm.
and don't make it like very condescending on you. I think that shows whether the person trusts you or not.
Mm. Having an experimental mindset is also very important.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more of like, oh yeah, sure, it doesn't work, but this is what will. we learn that it does not work.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
then we
yeah,
are one step closer to finding a better solution or better approach.
yeah,
So I think them giving you that opportunity to experiment, right, can be a sign of trust as well. Lor.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was our episode for today.
And if you do have any opinions on your site, feel free to let us know. Maybe we will do a follow-up episode if we get more voices.
As usual, you can find us on Twitter or Instagram at Kiasu Design Life. Also, feel free to screenshot and tag us when you're listening. It really, really makes our day.
Yep. And we'll see you in the next day. Bye.
Bye.